Buongiorno, domenica vi conviene cercarlo questo, guardarlo.
I do think we have to be a little careful. I know that we are combining
Peter
some
Diamandis,
of the hottest words from Silicon Valley,
Eric Smith,
from
Eric Smith,
AI, superintelligence, humanoid
dice,
robots, and all that. To be honest, I think robotics has a long way to go. I think we have to be a little bit careful.
dice
With the
Philly,
robotics.
professore a Stanford University.
The ability, the dexterity
Philly,
of
Future Investment
human level
Initiative,
manipulation is
Stanford.
you know, we have to wait a lot longer to get it. So are we entering post scarcity? I don't know. I actually I'm not as bullish as a typical Silicon Valley person because I think we're entering. I absolutely believe AI will be augmenting human capabilities in incredibly profound ways.
Me
But
too.
I think we will continue to see that the collaboration between humans and AI will be the most productive and fruitful way of doing things.
So the projection is that AI
Peter
is
Diamandis.
going to generate as much as $15 trillion in economic value by 2030. The idea that shifting the
15
foundation of national wealth from capital to labor to computational intelligence. So
Peter
what's
Diamandis.
that implication, Eric, for the global economy? How are we going to see redistribution, if you would, of wealth or of capabilities? Are we going to see a leveling of the field between nation states, or are we going to see runaway winners?
So in your abundance hypothesis, which we've talked a lot about, there may be a flaw in the argument. Because part of the abundance argument is that it's abundance for everyone.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of evidence that these technologies have network effects which concentrates to a small number of winners. So you could, for example,
Questo è
imagine
quello
a
che
small
ho
number of countries
sempre detto anch'io. Il discorso del livellamento delle AI non è vero. Prima c'è l'effetto network, quindi i più forti diventano sempre più forti. Con le AI è ancora moltiplicato. Si può arrivare.
Every company that has implemented AI has seen huge gains. Think about here we are in Saudi Arabia. You have all of this oil distribution, all the oil networks, all the losses. AI can easily improve that by 10%, 20%. Those are huge numbers for this country. If you look in biology and medicine and drug discovery, much faster drug approval cycles, much lower cost of trials. Look at materials, much more efficient and easier to build materials. The companies that adopt AI quickly get a disproportionate
Cercherò di avere anche Eric Smith e Peter Diamandis sul podcast, però quello in inglese. Quello in inglese
largely centered around early adopters, network effects, well-run countries, and perhaps capital.
But you could imagine still that we're going to see autonomous cars in which the ownership of a car is 4 times, let me put it the other way, being in an autonomous vehicle is 4 times cheaper than owning a car. We can see AI giving us the best physicians, the best healthcare for free, in the same way that Google gave us access to information for free. We will see a massive demonetization in so much of our world. I think that will be available to anyone with a smartphone and a decent bandwidth connectivity. Is that still not what you think will happen? Do you think there's a reason, something that would stop that level of distribution of those services, which we spend a lot of our money on today?
I do think AI democratizes. That I totally agree with you. I think whether it's healthcare or transportation or knowledge, AI will democratize massively. But I agree with Eric that this increased global productivity does not necessarily translate to shared prosperity. Shared prosperity is a deeper social problem. It involves policy, it involves, geopolitics, it involves distribution, and that's a different problem from the capability of the technology.
So what's your advice to the country leaders that are here that are seeing ASI as a future for someone else and not for themselves? What should they be doing? I mean, this is the speed at which it's deploying. They don't have a lot of time to make critical decisions.
Well, it's worth describing where we are now. In the United States, because of the depth of our capital markets and because of the extraordinary chips that are available in the Taiwanese manufacturers, TSMC in particular, America has this huge lead in building these what are called hyperscalers. If there's going to be superintelligence, it's going to come from those efforts. That's a big deal. If there is superintelligence, imagine a company like Google inventing this, for example. I am obviously biased. And what's the value of being able to solve every problem that humans can't solve? It's infinite.
Sure.
So that's the goal, right? China is a second, doesn't have the capital markets, doesn't have the chips, and the other countries are not anywhere near. Saudi has done a good job of partnering with America, and the hyperscalers will be locating here and in the UAE. That's a good strategy. So that's a good example of how you partner. You figure out which side you're on, hopefully it's the United States, and you work with the US firms.
Yeah.
I do think countries all should invest in their own human capital, invest in partnerships, and invest in its own technological stack, as
Human
well
capital.
as the business ecosystem. This is, as Eric said, it depends on the strength and particularity of the different countries, but I think not investing in AI, it would be macroscopically the wrong thing.
Quindi
So here's the thesis that investment involves building out data centers in your nation.
molto interessante,
Do you
conviene
think
vederlo.
every country should be building out a data center that it has
Future
sovereign
Investment
AI
Initiative,
right on?
Peter Diamandis, Eric
Every
Smith,
country is a very sweeping statement.
poi lì
I
di
do
Stanford.
think,
Ora,
it
cercherò di
depends.
averle tutti sul
It
podcast. Il
depends.
problema
I
è che
think
sarà naturalmente in inglese.
Obviously, for a region like this, absolutely, where
Da lì-
oil energy is cheaper and such an important region in the world. But if we're talking about
Andiamo a fare
smaller
colazione, pranzo e
countries,
cena.
I don't know if every single
Se
country
faccio
can
un
afford
tempo,
to
compro
build
un
data
biglietto per
centers.
Lucca
But
Comics.
there are
E oggi
other areas of investment.
facciamo qualcosa da Lucca
Let me
Comics.
give you an example. Let's pick Europe.
Sì,
Easy to pick
Giulia.
on Europe.